Hey guys, today I'm making my newest ranking video about all the tracks in Mickey Speedway USA. If you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe. Leave any suggestions in the comments for racing games I should make track rankings of, and if you have any if you have like anything to know about the video, please leave in the comments. I like seeing the your guys' opinions and your engagement. At least like to see the comment count be a fourth of the or a quarter of the view count. And make sure to subscribe, because I'm trying to get to 20 subscribers by the end of 2025. And anyways, let's start the video. Alright, so 21st place we got, oh, sorry, there we go. Technical issues. But so this track I don't know why they add this track to the game. This is Malibu, and it is the third track that takes place in California in this game. Not the first, not the second, but the third. And it's made even worse because every other state except for California doesn't have more than one track in this game. And California gets 3. Like, it gets the most populous, but I mean, still, 3 is a little much compared to like the second most populous state's Texas only gets 1. Like 2 would make, like, when you go through the game and check and look at the tracks, you go you take a look at San Francisco and go like, that makes sense. Like, of course it makes sense. California is the most populous state. Then you go to Los Angeles, and it's like, yeah, it still makes sense. California is really populous, and Los Angeles is a really big city. And then you go to Malibu, it's like, really? Malibu? Malibu is a really small city compared to everything else in the United States. Because Malibu isn't even in the top 100 cities, biggest cities in America. Not even in California, mind you, which just like makes it even worse. Cause like there are so many cities that there are so many places that didn't make it into this game. Like there could have been like an Idaho track. There could have been one in Kansas City or Detroit or Guam and Puerto Rico. Like, I mean, those aren't technically states, but they're still part of the United States. Like, still, like, there are so many places they could have gone with instead of Malibu, but they chose Malibu, which just really doesn't make any sense. And it gets overshadowed. It's the third most reliable track in the game because it gets overshadowed by an actually good beach track. But anyways, like, what's the layout like? It is bad layout, by the way. So that's it. Even if it was not named Malibu, that would still be bad. Like, last place. Like, that music is bad. Those sandbanks, though, that split up the track into really thin sections like that, are very hard to notice, and they are very punishing. And it makes it even worse. And then there's this section, the back-to-back chains, where if you take these straight on, you won't know if you're supposed to go left or right, because there's no arrows. Hell, you could be going underneath there and you wouldn't know because the lighting's so bad and you can't tell. But anyways, you take turns out here. You take it out over here, drive through more of this road, and then there's another section like it, except for it's shorter and the lighting is even worse. Like, seriously though, that you would have no idea where to go. Like, look at that. Look at that. Tell me where you're supposed to go. If you didn't see that like clip earlier, then you'd have no idea where to go. And it's so dark, like you can't see anything. And then you go 3 of the Bowser Castle boxes back to back. Not 1, not 2, but 3 back to back. Like, at least Bowser Castle 2 only has 1. But, I mean, not 1. But at least Bowser Castle 2 only has 2. Same thing as a lot of other tracks with stuff like this. But no, this had to have 3. Which just, like, just why they do it. Why? Just makes me go, like, why? Just makes me think. It's like, this is the worst track in Mickey Speedway USA, and really, if you want a beach track from this game, then just play Hawaii. It's not worth it to play this, trust me. 20th place, we got Chicago. Chicago. Why is it not loading? There we go, sorry. It's a very old Chromebook, that's why a lot of the stuff's not working that well. Okay, but alright, so this is the best OST in the game. So yeah, that kind of boosts it up. Like, seriously, listen to its OST on YouTube. Look up Mickey Speedway USA OST Chicago, and it's a pretty good song. It's good for its aesthetic, especially since it takes place in a sewer, which is kind of funky, but yeah. My main issue with this track is that a lot of these sections are too thin, and the turns are thin and sharp turns. Like, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 of them. Which just, like, why is there so many? Like, the reason why it's so low is because this game's drifting system is made for wide turns that are at wide angles. And they're, like, pretty, like, the road is wide, but turns where the road is thin and it's 90 like sharp turns. It's not built for this game's engine. And just, it also has a couple of jumps which are pretty fun. And look, there's arrows. That's not something you find very often in this game. Then this track has a lot of boost panels, I guess. There's that V section. It is a little hard to tell. It's like Malibu, like looking at that straight on, but it's not as bad. And you go over here. There's a split section that's really thin right up there. It's kind of like the Toad Harbor, where you go up, you go up here, you go down, and then you jump off right here. It skips a turn of the track, but it's so thin that I'm pretty sure it's not even worth it. Like, look at that. Goofy starts off around the same spot as Pete, and they come out both at the same time. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not faster. But then you could take this underground segment that's really thin, that you can use to skip this section with the boxes. But the only problem with that is that it's really thin. Like, you can't skip the most annoying part of the track, which is the boxes that are essentially copied and pasted from Bowser Castle 2. At least there's only 2 of them, and you can skip it. But these walls, if you're taking it normally, are really easy to get caught on, because you don't really bounce off that much in this game. Like, I noticed this when I played Atari cards for the first time. In Mario Kart games, you bump off the wall and then, like, reverse a little bit, so that way you have a little more leg room to go back. But games like Atari carts, you just you dig a little bump on the wall, and then you just, like, and then you just keep scratching against it. And you really start appreciating, like, the little things, like bumping off of the wall multiple times in Super Mario Kart. Because when you play Atari carts and games where the walls are really intrusive, and you're really gonna start wishing that you had the wall bumps of Super Mario Kart. Like, people don't like Super Mario Kart that much, but that is one good thing that it has. But really, though, it's not that bad. It's just not the greatest. It's pretty memorable, though, so that's good. 19s we got. Oh my gosh. Sorry, the videos won't load. There we go. Now, if you were to ask me what the most forgettable track in Mickey Speedway USA was, I would probably say Malibu or Yellowstone. But that's only because I forgot this. I literally forgot that track. This track existed. Like, I forget this track exists on a daily basis. In fact, when I started the video, I forgot this track existed. Like, I went up here and I was like, oh yeah, what was this track I put here again? I was like, oh yeah, Seattle. And I'm just like, seriously? And it's not my favorite, to be honest. It's a relatively boring layout. It's really forgettable because it takes place in a city, and and about half the tracks in this game take place in urban environments. So the only memorable parts of this track are the this track has kind of a car theme because there's a garage section and an auto parts section, but that's really it. There's a starting section where you could go through there, get some tokens. There's some tokens right here too, but there's a jump. There's a couple of pulls that are in the way. Then you take this turn, and then you go to the garage, take this boost and jump. And see, yeah, that literally says auto parts. Even though Nintendo 64 isn't really the best at making textures, but you can blend them, make it look really better. That's very clearly says auto parts, but that's very clearly spray printed. Or like neon or something, but spray painted or neon. Like spray paint lightable signs. You know, that should be a thing. Okay, no, regardless. There's this little split section up top of it where you can take a jump. I'm not sure if it's faster, but I'm pretty sure it is. Then there's this weird half pipe section that feels kind of awkward to control. And for some reason, if you're on the top part, you go slower than the people on the bottom part, which makes no sense to me, but then if you take this turn sharp enough, then you could get this boost panel. It's something that you'd find in other tracks in this game, in Dakota, and something you find in other games, like in Mario Circuit, in Mario Kart 8, the GBA Mario Circuit, Mario Kart 8, on those hairpins. But otherwise, it's just a kind of forgettable track. In my opinion, I feel like this track would benefit from having some cars inside the garage section, and that's an issue I have with this game in general. This game feels like this game takes place in the United States of America. There should be a lot of cars, but there isn't. Like Los Angeles. It's Toad's turn by Bill without the cars. It would have been perfect with cars. It would have been one of the best tracks in the game, like Toad's turn with the cars. In fact, I would even argue that would have been, but it's just not, because it just doesn't have the cars. And this game really would have benefited with cars in it. Anyways, next, we got number 18. Oh my god, sorry. Yellowstone. So here we got Yellowstone. It's kind of like Donut Plains in a way, where it's really grassy and there's big wide turns. You go down the staircase part and then you drift around here. There's a lake that makes it even more like Donut Plains. And then here's my favorite part. If you take this boost panel, you could go over this little section of grass. And then you take this boost panel and jump up here. Then, it's mostly good, but then, oh my god, these rocks in the way are so annoying. Really, though. They had to put these right back to each other. Seriously? Really? Did they have to put these right next to each other? They're so tight that you have a really high chance of running into them. If you make it through there, you get a boost panel, and then go back out. But still, those rocks just make it a lot worse. If this didn't have the rocks, then it would rank somewhere around the middle, but since it does, it's lower. Number 17, forgot. Oregon. Oh my god. That section's terrible, but okay, let's look at the part of the track before that so we don't start off with our worst part. Alright, so there's a little bump right here. It's kind of cool. Oh yeah, third best OC in the game. Look it up. Trust me. It's a real big head bumper. But it's got this wide turn. There's a little pipe right there that's leaking shit, I'm assuming. Then you take these wide turns through here. You go underneath this tree branch. This is the closest this game has to like a jungle, but it's more of a forest, like Yellowstone. But Yellowstone doesn't really look that much like a forest, except for the starting section. Then there's a little risk reward. You could go here and get the tokens and go faster, but you have to risk falling in the lake, or you could just not take it. These wide turns are really cool. Really fit this game. And there's this thin section that's in between grass. It's really hard to not go off road, but it's not terrible. Then you go on this little log, cool visuals, and then what is this? It's the Banshee Boardwalk chicane, except for it's mirrored, it's longer, it's like how do I put this? The middle part where you go in between the two turns is bigger. The drifting is even harder. So you can't just let go of the gas button and then just maneuver a little tightly. And it's even worse because there's a jump right here that lands you on the bridge. So you don't have control for a lot of it. Especially if you're on a heavyweight character like Goofy, you are cooked right here. It's really hard to do it perfectly. And then you take these wide turns here. Now, the only reason that this isn't last place is because, number one, this game has Malibu. Number two, this track has a really good OSD compared to Banshee Boardwalk. Number three, this track has wide drifting sections, which actually fit this game's drifting system. So yeah, this is why it's better than Banshee Boardwalk and not last place, even though it did technically rank lower than Banshee Boardwalk, but that's only because this game has 21 tracks. Number 16, we got there we go, the Grand Canyon. Okay, so this track is frankly a little bit forgettable. It's still good though. There's the tree right there that's in the cover. This track has a lot of split sections, but unlike in Malibu, they don't feel that bad. It's kind of like autumn aesthetic, which is cool. It's in my favorite state, Arizona. So that's a benefit. It's the longest track in the game, but it's still not that long. It's only 2 minutes and 11 seconds long. So, like, the size of, like, what would it be? Maybe Mario Circuit 3 and Super Mario Kart? No, maybe? Yeah, probably. But it's not that long. It's just not that long. It's still not long. It's, like, pretty short for most racing game standards, especially for Revolt. If you haven't seen Revolt, then if you look at the later cups, some of the tracks take 10 laps and are the length of, at minimum, like a lengthy Super Mario Kart course. It's just like, it's a torture simulator. I watched Ray Oken stream it, and it was torture for him. But, where are we talking? Oh, yeah, Mickey Speedway USA. Why was I talking about Revolt again? Yeah, lap counts. Anyways, a lot of these tracks will benefit for having 5 laps. But since this game's difficulties are significantly different speeds, then they had to make some of the track. There isn't really a good way to make some of the tracks significantly longer and some of the tracks significantly shorter, which just makes it kind of worse. Then there's these piles of leaves in the middle of the track, but they aren't that intrusive and they aren't punishing that much, so they're just more little bumps. You take this turn around here, mostly good. There's this bridge that makes a noise that I like. It's not that loud, but honestly, I would probably blast that in my sister's bedroom at night to just annoy her. Why am I talking about annoying my sister again? I don't know. But then there's this split section. Kind of cool. You can either go for coins or the items. But this path is faster, and this guy's playing in time trials, so he's gonna take it regardless. And then there's this turn with the coins in a line right there, where you could like kind of drift outwards. If you drift outwards, you can collect all the coins, but it's gonna be hard for you to reach that boost panel. And then, bam, the track's over. Oh yeah, there's something later in the track that I think is funny. Okay, no. Oh, okay. So right here, and then you look at this, and it's, woo, it just appears out of nowhere. I don't know why that's so funny to me, but it just, woo. It's like some banshee boardwalk chicanery right there. I just kind of find it funny. It's probably because this game's render distance or something, but this track has a lot of big straights and a couple of turns that aren't that optimal. It's just a little boring because it's a beginner cup course, so it's still good. It's still good. It's just not the greatest. Okay, 15th we got New York. The Big Apple. I just remembered that. Here's the Mickey Statue of Liberty right there when he goes back for a lap. But anyways, let's take a look at this track. Okay, so there's a couple of, you start off on the bridge and then you go over here. There's this little hard part since it's in the halfway point of the game that you can either go down there, fall down there for an easier route, or you could take up here. But it's thin, but you get all the tokens. You could fall down there and go in a little bit of the off-road and slow down, which I think is neat risk reward. But then you come over here and then, oh my god, it's the Bowser Castle 2 box. Like, it's not multiple of them back to back, but still a Bowser Castle 2 box. Both of them do have boosts, and then there's this. Unless you see like that little arrow right there, which I think is cool, but most people will notice that and they'll crash into the wall right there, and they're gonna have to back up and go into this tunnel that you didn't even know was a part of the track. And then there's these two back-to-back turns that are really hard to do because you can't really properly brake drift around them, and you can't properly normally drift around them. So yeah, these two turns are extremely difficult and are very hard to pull off. There's the Mickey Statue of Liberty holding a book, and yeah, the track's over. You start off on this bridge, which I think is kind of cool, but that's really it. Bowser Castle 2 box and back-to-back chicane. In the back-to-back chicane, that's just kind of hard to go through. Pull this track down a bit. 14th place, we got yes, New Orleans. One of the most boring tracks in the game. A reskin battle course with a different name, New Orleans. In battle mode, this is called Steamboat. If you don't trust me, then go grab your copy of Mickey Speedway USA or use an emulator, most likely, and then go to the battle mode of that, and then you'll see that Steamboat is just New Orleans. And they use this as a little bonus track. I tried looking up tutorial how to unlock it, but the damn chickens won't lay the eggs. So I had to, unfortunately, race through this in battle mode, which I got kind of decimated by the CPUs, but I still made a full lap on it, so it's still good. I feel like this is the best track, one of the best tracks in the game in terms of theming. It's like Daisy Cruiser. It's just kind of boring. Like, all this track has going for it is the theming. You go inside this boat, and there's a little red carpet. That's cute. Then you could take this jump, and then you go back out. You take this turn. There's a little what the fuck is that thing? What the fuck is that red thing called that spins in the back of the boat? Like what? It's like the thing that pushes the boat forward. I don't know what it is, but. And then you go over here, and then there's these little walls in the way. It is an interesting track, and it's a neat little unlockable, but just because that won't save its beginner cup level design. Like this has like Mario Kart 64's like Mushroom Cup on average is more complex than this, and that's quite a big achievement considering that game was before this game. But anyways, it's alright. It's just really simple. Anyways, 13th place we got. Okay, on the track that will benefit way more with cars, as I stated in the Seattle segment. Los Angeles. It's Toad's Turnpike without the cars. That's all I'll say. And this track would have been perfect for cars. It's literally a highway. It's literally, well, it says freeway on the signs, but it's a highway. Freeway and highway are the exact same thing. In case you don't live in a place that calls them freeways, which is, I've never really heard anybody where I live call them freeways. It's probably called freeways because the people who made this game are British. So yeah, this track is it's kind of boring though. Like it would benefit perfectly from cars. Like it's like Toad. It's almost identical to Toad's Turnpike. It has the exact same placement. It takes place on a highway or a road. But the only difference between it is, and they both have a figure 8 layout, the only difference is that one has cars. It makes it significantly more interesting. Like, if you have Loopity Von Drake, you could literally just drift around these turns, and, this track is built for him. It is pretty fun to grind in time trials, though. It really helps you, taking your lines better, which is a very, nice thing to learn in this game, especially since this game is heavily reliant on lines compared to almost every other racing game. This game is probably the most heavily reliant on lines of almost any kart racer, which is a lot to say, especially considering a lot of other games kart racers. There's a lot of them, but I would probably say that this game is the most dependent on lines, and this track's wide turns and the wide turns shows off that this game is probably the most heavily reliant on lines out of any racing game, out of any kart racing game. No, not racing game in general, because a lot of racing games don't have items, so you can only do that. Also, there's a shortcut where you, because the Mickey Speedway USA checkpoints extend through the entire track for some reason. So if you snake through the off-road, I know snaking, do that thing. There's something you could do in this game where you will only hop if you are holding one of the sides on drift stick. And you can't just hop by clicking the drift button. So which in my opinion is why this game does feel better than Diddy Kong Racing, because you can hop before you drift. So if you swing your thumb back and forth on the joystick and keep clicking the drift button, then you'll do hops, destroy your thumb, and go through the off-road faster. And don't do it with your palm. Trust me, it's gonna end up like how people when Mario Party did it, where they spun around the controller really fast. The N64 controllers are not really built for slamming the joystick back and forth. Trust me, I went off road when I grinded in time trials for this a little bit in the Everglades, and my thumb was destroyed after it. But anyways, it's an alright track. It's just boring and will really benefit with cars. I know I said that a lot, but traffic themes is one of the best themes you can have a kart racer. And the bummer is that like the only kart racing game that have it are most of the Mario Kart games, and well, technically Makeway has it, but doesn't really have tracks. You make the track and then you can't like save it or anything. It's like a different experience each time, but there is a part with cars. So yeah, technically, like Makeway and Mario Kart are like the two kart racing like game series that have traffic courses, which is really sad. Like this game will really benefit from it, especially since in the U.S. So yeah. But anyways, yeah, pretty good. It's an alright track, but it's beaten less than a minute. It's so yeah, that really shows. Yeah, it's especially if you do like the shortcut on it, where you go back and forth, and kind of like you stay in the bottom level, and then you go through the off road and stay back and forth. You could go faster, and you could take a faster lap for some reason. And there's a T. This track is really broken though. This track's really broken though. 12 we got. Sorry, I'm waiting for it. It's not gonna respond, is it? Oh, there we go. The first track in the game, Indianapolis. It's a mix between the first track of Diddy Kong Racing and the Luigi Raceway. When I say the first track in Diddy Kong Racing, it's still the name of the first track in Diddy Kong Racing, because I forgot what the name of the first track in Diddy Kong Racing is. Because that game's tracks are very forgettable, because a lot of them blend together. But anyways, the reason I say that is it has the layout of the beginning track in Diddy Kong Racing, but it has the assets of Luigi Raceway, like the stands and the circuit aesthetic, and especially the tunnel in the middle, where the two wide turns intersect. So yeah. There's this off-road section that you could cut through, the sand you could cut through, which I find kind of cool. There's this big straight with that big speedway tire. So, but otherwise, yeah, it's an alright track. It's just a basic beginner track, basic circuit. There's not gonna be a lot you could say about the circuit, so. Especially in a game without mini turbos or tricks. 11th place, we got okay, New Mexico. This game's other desert track. This game does have technically another desert track, but it's more of an urban track. But anyways, what does this track have? So it has cactuses. Cacti. Sorry, I'm in Arizona, so I learned what the plural of cactuses of a cactus is, which is cacti. Look it up. So this track is mostly faithful at the beginning. Big cliffs, desert aesthetic. I'm not sure if there's waterfalls in New Mexico. I didn't see any while I was taking a road trip through there to go to Arizona, but otherwise it was pretty faithful. The cactuses. The barns, I guess. I never really saw any, but it makes sense. New Mexico is pretty rural. And then you go through this barn segment, and then, oh my god, what is this? This is like a jungle enchanted place? Like, I have no idea why they added this, because New Mexico does not look like this. The only idea I have for why it looks like this is maybe because, New Mexico is called the Enchanted State. If you take one look at it, it'll be very clear that it's not the Enchanted State. But otherwise, yeah, I have no idea why this is here. If you have any ideas, leave them in the comments. But otherwise, yeah, I never saw any cyan when I went to New Mexico. So otherwise, we're going through here, and we go back to the start. Even though this does have a lot of turns, it feels pretty boring because the turns are really wide, and there's a lot of straights. It's like a bad medium speed F1 course, so yeah. It's just alright. Starting off the top 10, we got Hawaii. This is the track you should play instead of Malibu. That's all I'll say. It has the 4th best OST in the game. It's really calming. It gives off Shy Guy Beach vibes to me. Really any, because it's good beach music. There's these coconuts that drop off from the trees. Add some difficulty. There's the split off sections like Malibu, but they aren't done terribly. And there's a section that's like the Everglades with the puddles that you have to avoid. And then there's this section with the volcano. You have to take this sharp turn to make it. But I've done it without brake drifting, but you can't. It's better to brake drift. There's a tree right there too. That all the trees drop coconuts. There's another turn that's not as sharp, but still pretty sharp, right here. And then yeah, the volcano erupts, which is kind of cool. Hawaii does have a lot of volcanoes. Then you go through here. There's another thin section. This section is pretty thin, but you can cut over a lot of the off-road without getting that punished. So then you take this big wide turn till the end, which you could really take any line on. I think that's kind of cool. And then you go at the end. It's a nice calming track, but what won't calm you is the coconuts that chop down, which is kind of funny if you bump into them, but they are kind of BS. But the same thing as falling down all the way in Yoshi Valley, so I don't know. It's still nice. It's still a cool track. Also, if you're wondering why I'm not complaining that much about the difficulties of these tracks, I play almost all of these. This is mainly from a time trials perspective. I forgot to mention that in the intro, but I did this mainly from a time trials perspective, because it's the easiest way to access all the tracks. It's why I'm not gonna make a ranking video of Atari cards, because there's no time trials mode. Yeah. First, I'm probably a YouTuber who's made the most references to Atari cards, which is funny because I'm probably one of the smallest YouTubers on the platform. Like, sure, there's a lot of smaller ones, single digits, but I mean, still. But anyway, it's alright track. It's a good track. 9th place we got. So dang it. We are having a good run here. At Philadelphia, the track that's based off of shipping. If you look at this track's mini map, it looks like a cross. Like, it looks like a cross. It goes like whoop whoop. It goes like whoop 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 whoop. But since a lot of these are like people trying to do it really fast as can, they are using the speedometer, which is kind of a bummer. So we can't really review the mini map that much, but otherwise, I mean, there isn't that many videos of this game on the internet releasing specific tracks. There's these little like pole pipe thingies that remind me of the pipes. If you want to cut them tight, you could cut them tighter to have the risk of falling off, but take a faster and tighter line. Then there's this section where the crates shift and then go down, which is cool. There's a ramp over there for the iron box, and there's more pipes. Then you can go the pipes right there. This guy has no balls, but anyway, there's another one of the ones with the shipping crates, but there's 3 of them now. That's cool. There's a boost panel into this shipping container. Then you come out. There's chain link right there. You're drifting around here, and then you take a turn right into here, and then into this ship where there's the part back there, the car part that you need to unlock the final cup of the game, Frantic Finale, and then talk about for the other tracks. I think I've covered every other track that has it, but it's because it wasn't really that notable, but I just felt like this is the best one to mention it. I feel like this track was probably the best one they could fit in, though, because it's like shipping container storage. Like, that feels pretty obvious. When you go out here, that turn does go through there, though, so there's a wall that you could get caught on. My mom, when I played this game with my mom, she had no idea that you were supposed to turn right there. She thought you were supposed to go straight. She was just stuck on that wall, so I had to help her out of it. There's a chain link And there's the end. So yeah, it's a cool track. Good theming. I do forget this track, but that's just because there's a lot of urban tracks in this game. I don't know why. I just don't remember this track that well. But anyway, it's a good track though. Really cool. Good for corner cutting, and if you need to practice corner cutting and taking good lines, then this is probably one of the better courses to do it. 8th place we got. Okay, San Francisco. There's a Golden Gate Bridge right there. One of the tracks in the game where you start off, and you could look at near the starting part. You could look at the tracks. Look at the landmark from the city this track's based off of. You start off in this like tunnel. It's lit up. It's lit up though. Then you go underneath the Golden Gate Bridge, which is cool. I feel like they could have went on it, but I mean, then there would be like backed up traffic, like really backed up traffic on it. So, admittedly, it would probably be better if they just didn't. But there's this part where you go up the hills, like this, the big jumps. With one of the boost panels where you go up. I think that's kind of cool. You go back, you go around here, and then there's a lot of chicanes here. It's thinner than a couple other tracks, and then you just do the exact same part but in reverse with no boost panels. Take these turns over here, big turn right here, and then you go back to the finish. It's walled off because it's a, what do I call it? It's a beginner course track, I forgot. So there's not really any off-road, but still kind of cool. It's a neat little course with big ramps that are really cool. At 7th place we got, oops. Washington, D.C. This one's kind of similar to Peach Gardens to me because it's like at least the beginning section, because it's like a garden and then you go into like a kind of government building. And you go into the White House, which is a cool aesthetic part. You start off with a split section in front of the fountain. It's kind of cool. There's these turns and these bushes in the garden, which is cool. Then you enter in the White House, which is really cool. I'm pretty sure whoever Donald Trump wouldn't be very happy if you were driving through here, but or whoever was president, regardless. But there's no president to be seen in here, so it'll be fine. There's these kind of 90-degree turns. There's a lot of them. And you go out here, and then you go back, and then there's the beginning right there. It's a really, it's a cool track, has some good theming. It was executed really well, so, yeah, good track. Sixth place we got, whoop, I'm trying to get it to load. There's about a 50% chance that doesn't work for some reason. Dakota, this track does have a simplistic layout, but this game does benefit from simplistic layout sometimes. Like if you put this back to back with Choco Island 2, I meant not Choco Island 2, Choco Island 1, then I'm pretty sure it won't be very easy to tell which one's from Super Mario Kart, but still, they kind of take that to their advantage, because this game has drifting that really likes wide corners. You go in here, and then there's a boost panel that's off to the side, so you need to take the drift wide instead. There's a little chicane right here. If you take the boost panel, you can just go over it though. If you just go over the off-road. You can take the turn right here. Then you take this big jump. Then there is the since this guy takes the turn too early, you can't see it, but there's the Mount Rushmore right there, both Mickey characters, which is kind of cool. But otherwise, it's a simple track, but it kind of takes that to its advantage. Like there's a turn right here. It's like the Mario Circuit GBA turn. Where if you take it sharp enough, you could take the boost, which is kind of cool. And if you're playing in Grand Prix mode, there's items right here to the side of it. So do you want the boost panel or the items? It's a pretty cool risk and reward, in my opinion. Anyways, it's a simplistic track, but it's a cool track. It starts off on a bridge. Fifth place. We got Las Vegas. This is the desert track that I was talking about in the New Mexico segment. Alright, so yeah, just by the starting shot, you could very clearly tell this is in Las Vegas. There's Jack Black. Blackjack. Shoot, Jack Black, bro. There's a casino and there's a cowboy waving with a neon sign. Of course, yeah, you can very clearly tell this is Las Vegas. This is really they really took their Las Vegas's like whole aesthetic to their advantage right here. It's really cool. And then the music is also pretty good for it. And then you go into this quartz building, which really fits. You go in through here, there's these big wide turns with a couple of split sections. You go over here, there's a pyramid with a bump on it that you could take to make some jumps. And then you could jump over this stand right here if you have an item. Or I'm pretty sure you could jump over it normally too. I just find it kind of cool that you could jump over it in general. And then it's outside into like the sand desert. There's a gas station right there. When you take this turn, there's these like canyons right here, the big sand hill. Then you're almost back. But there's this big cliff right here, which I've fallen into a couple of times. But it's still nice and neat. And it's just a cool it's a cool track. This last turn's a nice way to end it off. It is kind of difficult, but I'm pretty sure that's the point. It's a cool track. Nice, interesting, cool track. Really took advantage of the Las Vegas right there. Fourth place, we got Texas. Oh boy. Yeehaw. Okay, so alright, so this track has long, winding turns, which really fits its aesthetic. There's you start off and there's cliffs to the side of you on this big winding turn. There's a couple of sharper turns, but in between the big winding turns, then there's that little pole, metal pole that's like on magnet on the ground. I don't know what it is. Splits off the path. It is really easy to crash into, but it's what you expect from the last cup. Then there's actually arrows. Something I really appreciate now. There's this big wide turn where you go over a previous section of the track like Mario Circuit 2, and then you could just hold the drift for a long time and go back over here. You can take the turn back over here, and then you can either go on this really thin path right here, which is the normal path, or you could just take this off-road section between the barns, and then you could just jump back and forth by earlier on what I talked about Los Angeles, flinging your thumb back and forth and mashing the drift button, simultaneously destroying two of your fingers and going through the off-road. And also if you take this turn, also if you take this too sharp, like this part, really, like if you really hug that wall, then you are going to skip a checkpoint, and apparently you will yeah, the lap won't count for you. So yeah, this game is a little bit broken, but it's not that broken. Unlike Mario Kart Wii and Mario Kart 64. But otherwise, yeah, it's a cool track. Big winding turns. It's a really fair track. And if you fall off, it's really your fault. It doesn't feel like the track's fault. It feels like your fault. Third place, we got the Everglades, Florida's one and only track in the game, and it's ranked pretty highly, which I think is pretty lucky for it. But anyways, what is in Everglades? And first off, it's during sunset. It looks really cool. There's a little turn sign right there. You start out this turn right here. Really good music, but here's where the track comes to shine. Take one look at that mini map and you'll see this track has a lot of split sections. Like it splits off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. 9 times. With these little puddles in the middle of the track. Which keeps the racers separate, which is kind of cool. In these thin sections, but it's like not that punishing, and also it can be thin, but it's not that bad, and because the off-road is not that punishing, and it's also very clearly telegraphed with the plants that's like, hey, you're not supposed to go here, instead of like little sandbanks where it's like that blend in with the rest of the track in Malibu. And you go through this big off-road section where you take this other where you probably gonna have to take out this other boost panel not to lose all your speed. Then you can go over here. There's since the first rocket ship was launched from right here in America that landed on the moon. I feel like it's pretty cool that they added it right there. But there's a couple more split sections. Then you drive back through that off-road, and then bam, the track's over. It's a really cool, unique, and interesting track, and it's probably one of the most unique tracks in the game. Really well executed with its split sections and lakes. Also, the music is pretty fitting. Second place, we got Alaska. Sorry, it's not loading. It has a lot of ice because it's in Alaska. You could actually cut through the ice right there, and take a little shortcut, which is kind of cool. You split off right here, and you take a boost and jump over a part of the track that also intercepts with another part, which I find it kind of cool. But I like just drifting into the other part of the track that you see no left turn. Oh, screw you, I'm gonna take that left turn regardless, because it's funner and it's faster. I'm pretty sure it's faster. And you go through here, you can take a little shortcut right there, it's not that fast. And then the end of the track. The track is really short, but the shortcuts through the ice and that split path with the boosts and the jump is something that's really appreciated. And I find it a very nice addition to this game's track selection. And even though it is really short, that less than a minute you spend here is pretty well spent, considering it fits this game's drifting system well with these wide turns. So anyways, yeah, good track. And in number 1 place, we got Colorado. Please load. There we go. Oh yeah, this is gonna have bad resolution, but yeah, this track is really good. Yeah, geez, that's like 144p. So this track is essentially the Rainbow Road of this game. It's the final track, it's the hardest track, and it's the track with one of the best music tracks. It's the second best music track in the game. Look up Colorado Mickey Speedway USA OST. It's really good. So first you start off going through this tunnel right here. Then you go through here. There's a part of the track that's just cut off for no reason. Just fell off in a landslide. Then you take this one really sharp turn. There's the track goes from wide-ish to thin, like really thin a lot, and then there's these little bumps on the side of the track which are really hard to drift around, but fun. This track is really punishing, but it's really fun. Like the music and the overall layout of trying to just master it makes it feel just genuinely amazing when you do, because then you could just, like SNES Rainbow Road, you could just listen to music and vibe while you play a genuinely good track. Oh yeah, also there's the aerial trainway emoji. There's the aerial trainway thing from John Casterline. The John Casterline guy, I think, popularized the H1T1, I think. I don't know. But he popularized the emoji, aerial trainway emoji. So, yeah. I just felt like I had to notice that. And also, it's on the cover of the track, I'm pretty sure. At least in the game. So, yeah. I just thought that was a neat little landmark. And then you turn right here, and then you're back at the start. Even though it is really punishing, a lot of people say they don't like this track because it's really hard and punishing. Well, a lot of people like SNES Rainbow Road, and it's hard and punishing. It has good music, so, what's the difference? Is rainbow? And there's swamps? Is that the only difference? Really? This has a wall on the side of the track, so it's less punishing, I would say. It's less hard than SNES Rainbow Road. Especially since this game's controls are significantly better than Super Mario Kart, but anyways, it's a really good track, and I really like it. Am I biased because I live in Colorado? Yes, but it'll probably still be pretty high. I mean, most people would say that SNES Rainbow Road is probably one of the best tracks in Super Mario Kart, so yeah. It's a good track. But anyways, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and help me reach 20 subscribers by the end of 2025. Bye.